Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. So in this video we'll be talking about contributing to open source projects on GitHub. So let's get started. So first of all we have to decide which project to choose and so that we can contribute to it. Since there are several projects available on the GitHub, but the following points will help you to get the best project on which you can get started contributing. So the first point is to find a project which matches your technology stack. For example, I know to develop apps in Flutter, so I will try to figure out some projects which are developed in Flutter or which are related to Flutter so that I can give my contribution in terms of code to that project. Also, the second thing I'll check is whether I want to contribute to an organization or I just want to contribute to an individual project. The difference between both is that if we talk about organization, let's say Flutter, so that organization will be added to my GitHub and that organization has several projects in it. So it's a different environment working with organizations because they have several rules of contributing, they have several guidelines you have to follow, and there are a lot of people working together, so you have to take care of a lot of things. And the second thing is if you want to contribute to an individual project which an person has posted on GitHub, so you can also do that, but at the time you have to like also follow those contribution guidelines, but it would be a bit more simpler in that case. The third point is check for a project which interests you the most. After like going through an organization or going through an individual person whose projects you like, most of the time you have to find out the best project or which interests you to contribute. So now I think we should do it together. So now let's follow the first point, that is choosing your technological stack. So for my case, I'll choose Flutter as my technology. So now I have to find a project which is related to Flutter to which I can contribute. So one of the project which I already have contributed, and if you are finding some project, then you could contribute to Web Scraper app, and this is an individual project as I have developed it. Also, if I have to find some project on which I want to contribute, I'll just search Flutter in this tab and choose the filter as all GitHub. So after this search, you can see there are a lot of projects which are a bit related to Flutter on which I can contribute to. For example, we have Flutter example apps, we have Flutter the official stack. We'll just open these two things, the Flutter official app and the Flutter plugins. So this is the Flutter main stack on which through which we develop applications. This is the main SDK. Okay, so you can see this is an organization project. That's why there are a lot of people working together on this project, and it has over 20,000 contributions, so, 20,000 commits. So you can see this is the organization page where you can find out a lot of projects which they have created on which people are contributing, and here the graph which represents the activity to that repository, so that you could know how often people are contributing to that repository and how active that repository is. So I think we should contribute to this repository Flutter plugins because I am passing the all three cases. The first case is I have chosen my technological stack, I have chosen I want to contribute to the organization, and the third thing is I have also choose the project which interests me the most, because this Flutter plugins are all the necessary core plugins which are inbuilt and we use most of the time to develop our application, like the camera, the connectivity, the device info, and the Espresso for testing, and image picker, and a lot of things. So I would like to contribute to this repository. Now let's move forward. Once you have decided which project you want to contribute, now you have to know how to contribute. So the first step in this process is to read the contribution guidelines provided to that repository, if any. Most of the cases they provide with a contribution.readme file or contributing.readme file, in which the newcomers and the new contributors could get an info like how to contribute and how to get started. After that, reading all the guidelines, you have to fork the repository so that you will make an individual copy of that repository on your profile. Okay, so the third thing you have to do is to clone that forked repository. By cloning that forked repository, you have downloaded the code and that is connected with the forked repository on your profile. The fourth thing is to make the required changes and push the code to the fork repository, and then make a pull request which will be then reviewed and then merged to the main repository. So this is the process how it most of the time goes. The reason behind it is because you cannot directly push the code to the main repository since there are a lot of people working along and you don't have the access to do it. If you also have the access, then you should also follow these guidelines, because in this way you will be able to clear the main purpose of GitHub, that is coming people are coming together and contributing to a same project. So there are over thousands of people contributing to the same project, so you have to follow these steps. So now let's do it. So here you can see, here's the Flutter plugins application, the repository on which I want to contribute. So I'll just scroll down, and there is a basic contributing guideline provided here, like if you wish to contribute a new plugin to the Flutter ecosystem developing package, and so they have provided me with some resources if I want to create a new plugin. But if I want to just contribute to the existing plugins, they also have provided a contribution guide for that. So I'll just click here. So it will open the contributing.md file in which they have provided all the things you need, the device, whether it's a Mac OS, Linux or Windows, and you have to follow these steps. Okay, so you have to go through all of these things which they have said, the testings, and after that only you have to create a pull request and do the thing. So once I have gone through all these readme file, what I'll do, I'll just fork this repository from here as the second step set. So I'll fork this repository. It will take a couple of seconds to just make a copy of this repository on my profile. I'll wait for it. So once that is done, what I could do is I could just clone this forked repository on my local machine so that I could make some changes and push it. So for doing that, what I have to do is I just to click this download code button. I have to copy this project ID. So after that, so now what I'll do, I'll just open the git bash here, and in this git bash I'll just write a command, that is git clone and the URL. I'll use shift plus insert to enter this URL, because since the control C and control V will not work here as expected. So I'll just clone this, and it would download the code for me, and it will again take a couple of seconds to download it, since it's a big repository and there are a lot of plugins already in it. So okay, so it is, I think, almost downloaded, and it's just updating the files. So once it's downloaded, I could just move to that folder using the command cd plugins, and I can now see that there I have all the folders which I am expecting. So now I'll just make the changes here and push the code. So if you are having struggle like how to push the code on GitHub, so for that I'll already made a video, and you can find that on my YouTube channel. So after pushing the code, I have to create a pull request, and I'll elaborate that thing in the next coming video. So that's all for this video. Stay tuned for further updates in this series, and I'll make sure to upload more videos. Thanks for watching.